Hello everyone. Today we'll begin with an activity which will require you to talk. Okay, so we've done what have we done in grammar so far? We have done nouns, we've done pronouns, we have done adjectives, we've done articles, and we have done determiners. So I'd like you to go back to all of those grammatical theories so that you can write sentences correctly. What you need to remember is when you are taught these grammatical things, what you're expected to do is to understand what is going on so that you can apply it in the sentences that you use when you talk or when you write. Okay, so when I saw all of your answers, I think one thing that came to my mind is that all of you need to frame your sentences in a more proper manner, because I think your entire paragraph, your ideas and thoughts are very good, but you need to frame them properly so that it's understandable to all. So today we'll begin with a group activity where we'll be talking. So I'll just give you an example so that you can understand what I'm expecting of you, so that you can write and hand it over to me anytime you feel you want to. Okay, so so remember in the last activity what we did? We spoke about all the we did a small passage on environmental problems. So do you remember which the most relevant, most important problems were spoken about? The problems that were spoken about then were deforestation, then there was desertification, and lastly there was ozone layer depletion. So in the activity we'll be doing today, they've asked you to pick out any one environmental issue mentioned in your activity last class and talk to your friend focusing on the following points. So they are asking you to remember those environmental issues that were mentioned. So I told you which the environmental issues mentioned were. They are deforestation, desertification, and lastly ozone layer depletion. Now you have to talk about any one of those, and all of you have to do that, because I'll pick any one of you and you have to speak on this. It can be today, it can be any other day. So be prepared. So what will you have to, if I give you a topic deforestation, the three things you have to answer is, you have to talk about the issue in your area. You have to say how deforestation is, why you think deforestation is prevalent in your area. Then you have to talk about why deforestation is prevalent in your area, that is, what is causing deforestation. And lastly, you have to make at least 2 suggestions to control it effectively. Okay, so let me talk about deforestation. So is deforestation prevalent in this particular area? You can say, yeah, if there is a problem, you can say it. For example, if there is deforestation, you must say, yes, deforestation is prevalent in my area, and this is due to because when new buildings are constructed and land is required for businesses and all, trees are cut down on a regular basis. So the major causes behind this is trees being cut down, and the motive is development. That is, the motive is to build more buildings, to use those buildings for housing and renting purposes. Okay, you can talk like that. And lastly, when you are asked to make suggestions, I'm just giving you a gist of it. You have to elaborate more on this. Okay, you have to write more about what deforestation is, why it is there in your area, and how to overcome it. So how to overcome it, it's very simple. When it's deforestation, you know, the most simple solution for deforestation is to plant more trees. To make if you're if the requirement of a building is that much, if it's urgent, if it's required for a building to be constructed there, then what can you do to make up for the lack of for the deforestation that is being caused? What you can do is you can plant extra trees around it. Okay, that is one suggestion. And no, there are 2 suggestions. You can plant more trees and you can plant it around them. Okay, so I'm giving you very vague suggestions. You have to write in a more something that is more relevant. I have shared a link to the problems and causes and solutions of deforestation in the notes that I've given you. but I think you need to research more on it. Okay, because in your exam you may be asked to write about deforestation or desertification or ozone layer depletion. So it will be good if you go and research on your own and find out something and tell me the new things. You may know more than I do. So you come and tell me, okay, this is this is what I found out. Okay. So we'll move on to the main activity of today, because group activity is something that will require you to be present, not just me talking. Okay. So the next activity is activity 5. So this activity is from the book that I've given to you, the ebook that you will be following, and the book's name is Words to Deeds. So in the book Words to Deeds, in page 11, there is an activity. The activity is number 5. Please note. Now what we'll be doing is you will be given a sentence, okay, and you will be asked the meaning of a particular word in that sentence. Okay, so what you need to do is A, you have to find out what the meaning of the word is, and B, you have to tell which is the word that helped you find the meaning of the word that you don't know. For example, if the sentence is the tiger is an endangered species, we need to take steps to protect it. So you have to find out what endangered means. Okay, and you also have to find out which is the word that helped you find out the meaning of endangered. So let's look at the sentence once more. The sentence is the tiger is an endangered species. Okay, so endangered means something that is under threat of extinction. I'm giving you the meaning only for this one. Now, if you don't know the meaning of endangered, just look at the sentence. Read it one more time. The tiger is an endangered species. We need to take steps to protect it. So even if you don't understand the first part of the sentence, in the second part, it's clearly mentioned that you need to take steps to protect the tiger. So the tiger needs to be protected. And who needs protection? Someone who is under danger. That is the kind of person or thing that needs protection, right? So the word protect gives you an idea that it has to be something related to danger. For example, it can't be cruel. If tiger is a cruel species, why will we try to protect it? If tiger is a lovable species, we won't just go and protect something just because it's lovable. You can love cats. Cats are lovable, but will you go and try to protect it? For no reason. But when it comes to tiger, because tiger is an endangered species, because it is under threat of extinction, we need to take steps to protect it. So here you know the word endangered means under the threat of extinction, and you also know that the word that helped you understand the meaning of endangered is protect. Okay. So I hope you understood the first one. I'll expect you to do the following ones. So here the main thing, read the following sentences and try to guess the meaning of the words in bold from the context. So context is the situation in which it is written. Write the clue words in the space provided. One has been done for you. So the first one that is done for you is the tiger one that I explained to you right now. And they are asking you to write it in a screen like this. I don't want you to write it in a screen like this. I'm just showing you the space. Okay. So we'll be discussing this today. So you won't have to do it on your own, because these are words. And I understand that you might not understand the words in the first course. So I'll help you out with this one. So in these sentences, in the 7 sentences that follow, what are you expected to do? First, you have to find out the meaning of the word. Second, you have to give the word that gave you the meaning of the word. As in, if the word is endangered, you have to give the word that helped you understand the meaning of that word. So in the first sentence, I gave you the example, the word is endangered, and you understood because of the word protect that the meaning of the word is under the threat of extinction. So we'll continue with the activity. So the first one, open your umbrella or else you will get wet. It is drizzling. So what does the sentence mean? The sentence asks you to open your umbrella. So open your umbrella or else you will get wet. So you are told that if you don't open the umbrella, you will get wet. So when do you get wet? The next sentence is It is drizzling. So what does drizzling mean? Does it mean sunlight? So if the word means sunlight, then how will you open your umbrella or else you will get wet? If you don't open your umbrella, will you get wet if there is sunlight? Or if it is slight rain, that's the answer obviously. I'll just move on to the third one. If it's wind, open your umbrella or else you will get wet. So if wind is blowing, will you get wet if you don't open your umbrella? No, right? So it's obviously the slight rain. So drizzling means slight rain. So which is the word that helped you get to drizzling, get to the meaning of the word? If you don't open your umbrella, you will get wet. Where will you get wet? Will you get wet if there is sunlight? No. Will you get wet if there is slight rain? Yes. Will you get wet if there is a wind blowing? No. So the answer is slight rain. So drizzling means slight rain. On the other hand, the clue that got you to drizzling, the clue that helped you understand the meaning of drizzling is, which one is it? Can you guess? Is it umbrella or is it wet? It is wet. So the answer is slight rain, and the clue that helped you get to the answer is wet. Now we'll move on to the next one. So the couple got married under a canopy of flowers. So this couple, they got married under a canopy, the meaning of which you don't know right now, of flowers. So what do you think canopy means? Does it means overhead covering? That is something that's above your head, covering your head, covering you and your covering the couple. Is it so they got married under a canopy of flowers? So that has to be, if they got married under, that means canopy is something that is above them. The next one is carpet. So do you think the couple got married under a carpet of flowers? How can you get married under a carpet of flowers? Is it even possible? Or do you think the couple got married under a painting of flowers? Can it be painting? No, right? So the answer is very obvious. The answer is overhead covering. Why do you think it is overhead covering? Because they have specifically mentioned the couple got married under a canopy of flowers. They did not just mention they got married, they've mentioned very clearly that it was under a canopy of flowers. So under means they are under something. And which is that? What are they under? They are under a canopy of flowers. So canopy has to be something that is over them. So an overhead covering. Understood? I hope you understood. We'll move on to the third one. Okay. So the next one is, he loved her so much for being so kind to him, but he abhorred her mother. Okay, so here the word you need to find the meaning of is abhorred. So let's read the sentence once more. He loved her so much for being so kind to him, but he abhorred her mother. So he is mentioning that he loved a particular person for being so kind to him. So someone is very kind to him, so he loves her. But he abhorred her mother. So when you say but, that means you're going to say something that is contrary to what has already been said. You're going to say something that has not been said. So do you think the sentence will be, let's replace abhorred with each of the option that has been given. He loved her so much for being so kind to him, but he liked her mother. Can it be liked her mother? Why will there be a but if he actually likes her mother? Let's read it once more. He loved her so much for being so kind to him, but he hated her mother. Okay, this makes sense. Let's move on to the last one. He loved her so much for being so kind to him, but he admired her mother. So one thing you need to understand is to get these sentences correctly, you will have to know the rules of grammar. So one rule is, if you're saying something and then you say but, it obviously means you're going to say something else. I'm so sorry. It obviously means you're going to say something else. So, for example, he loved her so much for being so kind to him, but he abhorred her mother. So, when he's saying but, he's saying that he loves someone, but then he says but. So because the but is there, you understand that it cannot be like or admire, because he's already said he loved her so much, and loved is very much akin to like or admire. So it has to be something that is opposite to love. So the answer is abhorred means hate. And which is the word that got you to abhor? The word is but. So it is because of the word but that you understood that abhorred means hate. So what are the 3 words we've done till now? Sorry, 4. Endangered, which means under threat of extinction. Then there is drizzling, which means slight rain. Then there is canopy, which means overhead covering. And then there is abhorred, which means hate. So we'll move on to the next one. Prolonged lack of rain causes severe drought. So prolonged lack of rain. Prolonged means something that has been going on for a long time. So the lack of rain has been experienced for a long time. So what happens when there is lack of rain? Severe drought happens. So drought means, what does drought mean? Does it mean flood? What happens when there is lack of rain? Does flood happen when there is a lack of rain? Does a mountain happen when there is a lack of rain? Or does dry weather happen? So dry weather conditions prevail when there is prolonged lack of rain. So the answer is definitely dry weather. And why do you think there is? Because of the word lack. Okay, because of the word lack. So it is because of the word lack that you understand that the rain is less. And because of the lack of rain, there is dry weather. When there is no rain, do you think there can be a flood without rain? No, right? And they cannot be, lack of rain cannot form a mountain. So it has to be dry weather. So the 5th word you learned today is drought. So drought means dry weather. Okay. The next one. My sister is extremely neat in appearance while she is slovenly in her housekeeping. So here while is used just like but is used in the 3rd sentence. So when you use the words but or while, what happens is you are contrasting what you are already saying. So just like in the 3rd sentence, he mentioned that he loved her and then he says but. So when the word but comes, you know that the second part of the sentence has to be something that is opposite to what has already been mentioned. Similarly, in the 5th sentence, when she says, my sister is extremely neat in appearance, while, the word while makes you understand while she is slovenly in housekeeping. It can't be clean, it can't be careful. Because when neat is something that is somewhat relatable to clean and careful, whereas messy is not. When she says, my sister is extremely neat in appearance, then she means while she is messy in her housekeeping. So in spite of being messy in her housekeeping, she is very neat in her appearance. So I hope you've understood the meaning of the sentence and you know the importance of but and while. These words help you understand. So in this sentence, the clue word is while. It is because of while that you understand that slovenly has to mean something that is contrary to or opposite to neat. Okay, so the next one. Birds are oviparous. Similarly, fish and reptiles lay eggs that hatch outside of the body. So just like but and while, when but and while come, you understand that the second part of the sentence will be opposite to the first one. But when you say the word similarly, you know that both of these mean the same thing. So when you say birds are oviparous, similarly fish and reptiles lay eggs that hatch outside of the body, you can understand that the meaning of oviparous is laying eggs that hatch outside the body. And which is the word that helps you understand the meaning of the word? The word that helps you understand the meaning of the word is similarly. I hope you've understood this one. We'll move on to the last one. So Jamal didn't want to tell Tina the entire plot of the movie, so he just gave her the gist of the story. So So in the first sentence, you have to understand that Jamal is saying that he did not want to say the entire plot. So because he did not want to say the entire plot, it's very obvious that he'll want to say something that is small. So he gave her the gist of the story. So what do you think the meaning of gist can be? Do you think the meaning of the gist is the central idea? Because he did not want to say the entire plot, did he want to say the central idea? Or did he want to say the complete idea? Or did he want to say nothing? So do you think gist of the story means nothing? It cannot be nothing. And it cannot be the complete idea, because it has already been mentioned that he didn't want to tell Tina the entire plot of the movie. So the answer is central idea. So gist means the central idea, and the clue word here is didn't. So it is because it is mentioned that Jamal didn't want to tell Tina the entire plot of the movie that you understood that he wants to tell something that is shorter, the central idea perhaps. Okay, I hope you've understood this one properly. If you haven't, please hear the recording once more. We'll move on to the vocabulary for today. So these are the words we've learned. So the first one is endangered, which means under the threat of extinction. And what does extinction mean? We've already done this one before in the Suzanne Severn Suzuki, yeah. So Severn Suzuki, when we did the passage about Severn Suzuki, we've all heard the word extinction. So what does extinct mean? Extinct means vanishing forever. So endangered means under the threat of vanishing forever. The next one is canopy. So what did we learn about canopy? Canopy is a overhead covering. Something that is above your head, over your head, covering you. The next one is abhor. So you also learned the meaning of abhor is hate. Then you learned that slovenly means messy. You also learned about drought. So what does drought means? Drought means dry weather. The next one you learned was oviparous. Oviparous, which means laying eggs outside the body. Lastly, gist. Gist is the central idea. So in today's activity, we learned two things. First, we learned how to talk properly in a coherent manner. And secondly, we learned 7 new words and how to come to the word and how to understand the meaning of the word if you don't know the meaning already. Okay? I hope you've understood today's class. Thank you.